Hey, good morning to everybody. Happy Tuesday. It's Daryl here. It is bright and freaking early, man. It's 3 a.m. here in Connecticut on the East Coast. Okay, this morning I'm going to talk about Alex Jones. I came across the video that just blows my mind. Right where I'm sitting right here, I actually Googled this morning. From where I'm sitting to Sandy Hook, to the actual place where the incident took place at Sandy Hook, is exactly 31 miles. People in this area, all around this area, know people that were directly affected. I know a school teacher. I have friends that were friends with the family of the school teacher. The first responders who are permanently scarred by what they saw that day. It spread out like a shockwave from Sandy Hook, and the way we feel around that here. And Alex Jones has a video. It's going to be right down on top, and I got to talk about that this morning. And that's going to blend into the next thing I'm going to talk about, which is Dr. Anthony Fauci and Donald Trump and Trump supporters. And I see Dr. Anthony Fauci being questioned about, Trump supporters the Republicans trying to nail him, trying to blame him for the COVID-19 thing. And I think we tend to forget how badly, all this talk about Donald Trump and the trial and Stormy Daniels and the Georgia thing with Secretary of State Raffensperger, which I talk about. But we tend to forget how badly he screwed up the COVID-19 thing. Right down below, there's I think this is from the Library of Congress, and it outlines how badly Donald Trump screwed up the whole response to the COVID-19 thing. One of the biggest things he said over and over again is nobody knew. How would anybody knew? This has never happened before. This is new. Nobody knew this was ever going to happen. Yes, they did. It wasn't a question of if it was going to happen. It was a question of when it was going to happen. Everybody, we all know. There's been previous pandemics. We all know they were going to happen again. And these Republicans are all trying to blame this whole thing on Dr. Fauci, like it's this whole new thing that he invented and he secretly plotted for. And the way Donald Trump really just mismanaged this whole thing. And I squarely blame Alex Jones and Donald Trump for the loss of my soulmate. This is Audrey. She was my first girlfriend in third grade. I was going to marry her. She moved to Florida. I gave her a kiss goodbye. I gave her a hug. I told her I'd move down. We'd live together in Florida. We'd get married. And in the summer of 2021, and right after she got there, she caught COVID, the Delta variant, and within a couple weeks, she was in ICU, and this is her obituary. And I squarely blame Donald Trump, and I squarely blame Trump supporters and people like Alex Jones for the loss of her. Let me start at the very beginning here. Alex Jones. This morning I came across a video, and it's down below. Now, this doesn't have to do with COVID. This has to do with Sandy Hook. And watch this video. He's all upset. The people in the studio are saying, come on, Alex, we want to hear your primal scream. I've never seen Alex Jones' show before, so I'm like, what the hell is this, And he gets on there, and he goes, and he screams, and then he starts crying. He's actually crying. And he starts saying that the feds are coming to take away his show. The feds are going to shut down my show. And he says this just blew my mind. He says, they hate us and they hate our children. That just blows my mind. Again, it goes to the kid, really? And so supposedly he's been sleeping in the studio because he won't pay up for all the action. A lot of times I don't agree with monetary damages. Somebody burns their mouth on a cup of coffee and they get awarded $1 million from McDonald's or something like that. That's ridiculous. But this judgment to the people of Sandy Hook, to the parents of Sandy Hook, I have no qualms about, because these people, I live here. I live right here in this area. And it was, like I said, it was like a shockwave. When it happened that morning, I get goosebumps just thinking about it. When it happened, it's only 30 miles from where I'm sitting, and we know people in this area. We know the first responders, we know the teachers, and it was like a shockwave that shook this area. And then, a little while later, you had this guy Alex Jones coming out and saying this horrific stuff. And not only that, you have the idiots that watch Alex Jones start harassing the parents of Sandy Hook as if they haven't gone through enough. These people deserve they deserve the blood and sweat that Alex Jones has accumulated through his entire life. That's my opinion here. So he gets on there and he's crying, they're coming. And I'm like, oh my God, this is so freaking transparent. You know what I think? I think he's watching the Trump trial and he heard that, Donald Trump's bragging that he's made like $50 million in the first 24 hours after being arrested, after being convicted. He's making all these millions of dollars because his idiot Trump supporters are just handing money hand over fist because he was convicted, because he's an idiot. So Alex Jones sees this. He has to pay a couple $1 million to the people of Sandy Hook. He doesn't want to do it. So why not get his supporters, his viewers to pay the money, right? So he goes on there and he does the whole Trump thing. The feds are after me. They're trying to take away our show. So, to me, it's pretty freaking transparent. It's pretty obvious what, Alex Jones is doing here. He didn't mention anything about Sandy Hook. No, it's the evil feds that are coming to take away his freedom of speech and shut down his show. So he takes the truth and he twists it all around and he combines it with Trump's lies and twists that all around and throws it out at his viewers and hopes to get back millions of dollars. That's what's happening here. The fact that Trump supporters and Alex Jones viewers can't freaking see this with their own eyes makes me just, believe that this really is a cult, that these people are the stupidest people on the planet. Okay, now this is connected to Audrey. I never talked about this for the last 3 years. It's coming up on the 3-year anniversary of me losing Audrey, okay? Right before she left. Here's her obituary. Take a good look at it. This is her, the love of my life. 3rd grade. We were meant to be together. We had different views. Her whole family were Trump supporters. But I've never talked about this because I wanted to keep peace between me and the family. But for the last 3 years, the family hasn't even reached out to me. They haven't even texted me. They haven't said a peep to me, like I don't exist. So I decided to take the gloves off and say what I really think. Her brother-in-law is he's a big-time Trump supporter. The whole family are Trump supporters. And he is directly related to her passing away. He would sit down in the basement, and he worked for an insurance company, and he would listen to AM radio all day long about conspiracy theories and Donald Trump supporters and all this stuff. He was all into it. Alex Jones, Rush Limbaugh. Audrey actually named her cat Rush after Rush Limbaugh. Okay. So I remember I used to see these posts on Audrey's, like on her Instagram, on her Facebook, the plandemic and stuff like that. How, the Dr. FAUCI was evil and the whole 6-foot distancing thing and the masks they were just trying to take away our freedom. We're not going to let them take away our freedom. And I'd see these posts and I disagreed with her. There were so many mornings that me and her would argue about things like Colin Kaepernick. That was one of our favorite arguments before she went to work and I started my work every morning. But I got the vaccinations. Here's my proof. Oh, and not only that, but my aunt was also a Trump supporter. My uncle and aunt on my father's side. And she's a Trump supporter. She passed away too from COVID. So I have 2 people very close to me. So the two people that are the closest to me in the world, and they were Trump supporters, and they listened to the whole Trump rhetoric, and they died, and they passed away. And I blame Trump, and I blame Alex Jones, and I blame the Trump supporters for their idiocy. See, I got vaccinated. I got every vaccination, right? I still got my masks. I still wear. I'll put them on. I did the whole social distance. Why not? These pandemics have happened before. We knew they were going to happen again. And like I said, there's this link down below where Donald Trump, he says, how did anybody know this was going to happen? It's never happened before in the history of our country, so I didn't know. And we're going to elect this guy president again. And there's going to be another pandemic. Of course there is. I'm not saying it might not happen during Trump's presidency, but then again, it might. And the way he screwed it up, we lost millions of people worldwide, and over 1 million Americans. And one of them was the person I love most in this world. So like I said, her brother-in-law, I've never talked about this before, would sit down in the basement and listen to Alex Jones and Rush Limbaugh and all this conspiracy stuff. And she bought into it. And she refused to get vaccinated. She refused to wear a mask because her freedom, I love Donald Trump, MAGA, and all that other stuff. And it killed her. And it freaking killed her. She's dead. And I squarely I don't blame Dr. Fauci. Now, the Republicans putting him on the spot, talking about gain of function. You know what? So what? You know what? Did it come from China? Did it come from a lab? You know what? It doesn't even freaking matter. It was going to happen. It's happened before. It's going to happen again. And you know what? If China is working on gain of function, I'm sure the United States is working. It doesn't surprise me that any government might be working on gain of function. It doesn't surprise me at all. As a matter of fact, you know there's going to be another pandemic. They've been all through history. It happens. Things cross over, and it wipes out the population. You call it crowd control, or whatever, but it wipes out part of the population of the earth. This is what we deal with, and we know it's going to happen. So they're all trying to blame Dr. Fauci. He's and I remember him. I remember Trump trotting him out there. Here's my scientist. It was Trump and Fauci. And it was the team. And now all of a sudden, because Donald Trump's running for election again, they're trying to blame Dr. Fauci as being the bad guy. It was all his fault. Donald Trump didn't know. Donald Trump was trying to save America. Donald Trump loved America. How could he have known? Idiots. Links will be down below. I'll be back later with another video. Have a good Tuesday.